All right.
What's up, guys? Nestor Tarango, CEO of SolarWorks Energy, here with Ashton Buswell, VP of Sales with Legacy.
What's up?
Thanks for taking some time to chat, man.
You got it, dude.
Yeah. We are in Tahiti right now, and it's starting to rain on us. So we'll see how this goes. But thanks for taking some time to chat. We had a pretty epic day of content. Yesterday we were on the mountain in silence.
Crazy journey yesterday.
Have you ever done anything like that before?
No, not all the way like that. I guess I've done some similar, but not that long.
Yeah, we did 12 hours in silence and
24 hours in silence.
24 hours in silence and 12 hours on the mountain.
Secluded by yourself to just think. You're only supposed to walk within like 15 yards of yourself, of like where you were plotted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just curious, any profound impact for you that came out of that?
Nothing like super profound. The biggest lesson that I learned, because I got a little bit of inspiration at the start, and I was like trying to like get something out of it. Like, what am I supposed to get out of this? And thinking about that, 12 hours. They recommended not to have a clock, so I didn't have a clock. I had no clue what time it was and any of those things. But I got some really good inspiration at the end. And then they were like, started playing some music, and they're like, all right, it's over. And I was like, crap. And so the thing that I thought about was that some inspiration comes early, some comes later, and some comes at the very end. The lesson is to always be ready for it. I could have just been like, screw it, dude. I didn't get anything. Like, I'm ready to eat. We weren't eating.
we were fasting, right? That was the other thing.
We could have water. I'm ready to eat. I'm ready to start talking. I'm just done with this. But I was still open. Like, I was still like, I'm willing to receive whatever. I was ready, right? So anyway, that was the biggest takeaway that I think I got.
So for those who don't know, Ashton is the leader of one of the largest solar sales organizations and installers in the entire country, putting up thousands of installs every single month. And you've been in solar for quite a while now.
Yeah, almost 10 years.
Yeah, and I was talking to you yesterday about kind of your journey, but for those maybe who don't know, how did you get into this thing? How long have you been on the doors? And almost more importantly, how long before you realized you were actually good at this?
I started in door-to-door sales in 2005, and I absolutely love sales. I love sales, and I have a soft spot in my heart for like the first year rep, because if you can make it through the first year, sales is incredible. So many people don't make it through the first year because they don't stick it out.
Or the first week.
Or the first week, or the first month, or the first summer selling, or first whatever, right? And I actually realized I was good at it like right away. My first day I got 4 sales.
Wow.
Selling satellites.
Wow.
I had like basically no training. A guy came with me on the doors, Jeff Mendez, some people may know that name, like Vivint Alarms legend. We went on the doors together for about an hour, 2 hours. We got a cell together, and then he was like, all right, man, I'll pick you up at 9 o'clock. And then I just had to figure out how to sell satellites to people. But anyway, I started in 2005. I sold satellites for 3 years. I sold alarms for 3 years. And then I was done with door-to-door sales, and I moved to San Diego to start some businesses with my brother. After doing, paying my tuition to the School of Hard Knocks, not making any money on a carpet recycling business, off-the-wall business. We did okay with our cement powder business, also off-the-wall business. I transitioned to selling LED lighting, and then I sold a business-to-business networking group. And then one of the guys that started with me the first summer, Luke Toon, called me and said, hey, I'm gonna leave alarms and go to solar. I trust you more than anybody else I know. Will you come and just have a look and see if this is a good decision or not? And fell in love with solar like right away. I live in San Diego. We get a lot of sun, and it's expensive for power. So you can tell me I can give you something for free. It doesn't cost you anything. You just have to pass credit, and you save a bunch of money all the way, like day one. Yeah. And I fell in love with it. So I've been in solar 10 years. I think that answered all of your questions. How did I get where I am?
Yeah.
Or you asked, when did I realize I was good? I realized I was a sales guy when I reflected back on my life, and as a kid, I was selling my carrots for gushers. Like, oh dude, you don't need gushers, bro. Those aren't healthy for you. They're not filling. My mom got me these carrots. Look, this is a bag of carrots. These are healthy for you. These are filling. We should just trade. right? And either people got sick of me asking. I just kept asking, or I sold them. I don't know which one it was, but I reflect back to like some early things in my life that I did that I was like selling people on my ideas, and that's a big one that stands out. So I've been selling for a long time, but in door-to-door since 2005.
And so was the transition into leadership? Because it's one thing to be a good salesperson, and then it's another thing to build and lead a massive organization. So can you talk a little bit about that transition?
Yeah, so I think a really crucial part of being a sales leader is to sell. My first summer selling satellites, my manager, who was awesome, love him, he sold 150 satellites in the summer. I sold 250. So halfway through the summer, who do you think people were asking for advice from?
Yeah.
Me. And I was technically an assistant manager, but I really was just like a first year rep, right? They gave me that title, I think, to kind of try to get me out there or something. But they started asking me for advice, not the guy that's the leader, right? And in sales, some sales organizations, they structure it so that once you get to a certain position in leadership that you don't sell. And I actually don't really like that model. I still sell. I'm a VP of sales. We've got thousands of reps. And I'll probably have
not only do you sell
65 or 70 installs this year.
Yeah, I was following you on social media. You did 30 deals in 30 days, just not that long ago.
Yeah. February I did 20. My goal is to do 28 in 28 days. Part of that stemmed from like seeing the organization, and we had a slow start to the year. And I'm like, all right, what can I do to help this? And a lot of times leaders don't go out and sell. They just will be like, try to motivate instead of look, I could do it too. And or like, I'm not above this. Sometimes we get to comfort levels. We talked a little bit about this yesterday. Sometimes we get to comfort levels of like, I want to work really, really hard so that I don't have to do that anymore. And that's good. But as possible, we all want the cushy job. We want to make the most amount of money with the least amount of effort. All of us do.
Of course.
Right? But in sales, and particularly in door-to-door sales, it doesn't work that way. You've got to continue to sell. Yeah, and realistically, at my position, I probably don't need to. But I thought, what's something I can do to impact my whole organization right now? You know what it is? Dude, it's me saying, hey, leadership, I'm going to go out and do 28 sales in 28 days. Who's with me? In February. Who does that? Nobody does that. I'm going to do that. Who's with me? And I had a couple people call their shot, and I championed them. I love when people call their shot. Dude, you're with me. You're with me. You're with me. Who else is with me? And don't say you're doing this if you're not going to do this, right? And I'm pouring into these guys. A bunch of people said they were going to do it. Some people fulfilled on it. Others fulfilled on it that didn't say it.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
And others, there was reps that also came through and did really well that didn't say it also. And so it was a little bit of a come with me leadership and something that I could do. I ended up doing 30 sales in 28 days. And then the next month I did 41.
Jeez.
And it was a good month, or a good couple of months. And a lot of it was just because like spillover effort, right? And I had a sprint. We had a deadline in California, net metering 2 to net metering 3 change. That was a natural deadline. I couldn't manufacture it. It was a real thing, and it played out in my favor.
Nice.
To really get after it, but yeah.
So I've been talking to a few people about mindset. Can you kind of speak to what your thoughts are on the mindset of a successful person, not just sales, but just in general? Like, what is your idea of the champion mindset?
Yeah, man. So people talk about the growth mindset versus fixed mindset and scarcity and abundance and all those things. And I agree with all those things. I think the people that are the most successful are the people that are always learning and don't feel like they've made it. Once you feel like you've made it, like that's the beginning of the end, I think. And I also think that whenever we get a new position, that you have to re-earn your position. When I got promoted to be a VP, I had 1 day as a VP. That's not a lot of track record as a VP. So I hustled my face off, man, like hard at the start when I got that promotion, because I had to show everybody saw that I was worthy of it. usually you're worthy of it in order to get it. Sometimes you're not, and sometimes there's nepotism and there's some other stuff that goes into promotion sometimes. But I was worthy of it. But I only had one day of history as the VP. And I was like, I gotta show everybody else, like, this wasn't a fluke. I'm worth all of this. This is all real. Let me show you, right? And so kind of hustled my face off again to kind of re-earn my position. But it's somebody that's always learning, somebody that's hungry, and how I personally like to do it is I like to make things a game. I like to gamify it, make it a sport. Once you make a certain amount of money, it like the money is a motivator and not. But if I can win a game, and usually the game is me versus me, not me versus you. Sometimes it's me versus you. But if I can create a structure that it's a game where I'm playing against me, and I don't like to lose. I'm not a loser, I'm a champion. So I gotta figure out how to win my own game. Then the money comes, then people wanna follow you because you're selling, you're leading by example, you know what I mean? Anyway, that was a really long-winded answer.
No, yeah, it's great. You know, and so on those, when you're creating a game for yourself, maybe you could talk a little bit more about that. Like, give us an example. Like, you know, maybe
28 sales in 28 days.
Got it. Okay.
That's hard.
And then, but the next month you did 41. So were you like, I'm going to do more this month, or was it just kind of you had this momentum going?
So I had this momentum. My wife and I had a trip planned to Ecuador, and I was like, I actually did 28. I did 30. I did 28 sales in 27 days. We flew to Ecuador. I got a sell on the plane. I'd sent somebody an email. Bro, I've always wanted to close a deal on like from 30,000 feet. and I had internet. I paid for internet, and because I knew there were some things coming through, and I got a DocuSign back that somebody had sent an email to that hadn't signed yet, had signed. And I'm like, I'm hitting like sign on the airplane. It was sick. It was so sick. Then I closed another deal in Ecuador while I was there from somebody that was like, because I made some like urgency around this end of February, right? And so, not false, real urgency, and created something where customers would want to move their feet. So they called me and was like, "Is it too late?" And I'm in Ecuador, and it's like 11 o'clock at night there, and I'm like, "Nope, not too late," you know, because I had this mission. Anyway, we were in Ecuador for 7 days, and I said to my wife, I was like, I think I can do 20 sales in 5.5 days, because we were going to come home, and then we were going to do a door-to-door experts event in Florida, and I already had it booked. And so I put it out on social media. That's a way for me to be accountable to the world, right?
Oh, interesting.
Listen,
it's like a game for you. Like that's how you create the game.
I'm gonna do. I think I can do 20 sales in 5.5 days. And after 3 full days, I was at 0.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I was freaking out, like, oh shoot, dude, I thought I could do this. And I probably
were you kind of banking on the pipeline that you had built the month before?
Yeah, that and following up with
knocking.
people and knocking and reaching out to people.
Okay.
And I sat with like 10 people, 8 or 10 people in those 3 days, and closed 0.
Oh wow.
And I just closed.
So even the best sometimes, you know, have challenges. Thanks for being vulnerable.
Yeah, it sucked. I remember I got a sell after that, because I got home from Ecuador and I considered that like a half a day. So I was like, I got a half a day to work, and was jet lagged and tired from our awesome trip. And so on that 4th day, but after the 3rd full day, I finally got a sell. And I remember I did a video sitting in my car outside of a Jamba Juice type place. It was like 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night. I just charged my car, and I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, I'm freaking stressed. I've told all these people that and people are following me, and they're like, how's it going? I'm like,
haven't heard anything.
Like nothing. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I'm like, I got nothing, man. And I just done this 30 deals in 28 days, and I just had these things, and anyway, I ended up. My goal was 20. I ended up with 27 deals in 5.5 days. I sold 15 deals the last day.
So you
bageled
for 3 days.
Basically in my pajamas.
So you bageled for 3 days, and then the 4th day you banged 15.
The 4th day, I got a 10 spot.
How I can't even
Hold
fathom
on.
that.
So 5.5 days. I'm doing the math wrong somewhere. But I got a 10 spot on the Saturday, and then the Monday I did 15 on that day. So that's 20. That's 25.
Was it all the people you sat were like, oh, I thought about this, I want to do this, or what? How did that happen?
Yeah, follow up. So some
okay.
people, Michael O'Donnell, killer sales guy, believes I am never coming back. Ashton Buswell, I believe in coming back.
He's like, "I'll come back."
And that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
that's his style.
Everybody has a style.
And he crushes it. And I believe the fortune's in the fall. I, like him, want to close it the first day. I'm going to come to your house. We're going to talk about solar, and I want you to sign up today. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make that happen. And I had a customer tell me one time, they're like, Ashton, you're pleasantly persistent. I'm like, yeah, that explains me very well. I'm not pushy, but this is better for you. You should do it right now. You know, and I'm pleasantly persistent. But I understand that a lot of things don't close on the first day. And I give them an opportunity to be, I am very good at having a good relationship with you. And if it doesn't close today, that's fine. It's not a no, it's just a not yet. You're gonna call me in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. I had somebody call me 6 years after I knocked on their door.
Wow.
Had a good enough relationship. I followed up with them a year later. They still didn't sign. She called me, saved my number, said I've had 100 solar guys come by my house. But you're my guy.
Wow.
My husband just lost his job. We need to cut on bills. Can you come over? That was worth me having a good experience with them and following up.
And you said
Do you know
that
what I mean?
you said that you believe in whatever the outcome of the door is, leaving the relationship intact.
On a
Like,
positive note.
On a positive note.
Yeah. Every time. If it's a door knock that I don't get a lead, as long as I leave it on a positive note, my day's happier and I didn't burn that door. If I
And
sit
you're not
with
frustrated
somebody,
from getting in an argument and then
Right.
having to take that to the next.
right, taking that energy to the next door, yeah. And if I don't close somebody, all good. It's not no, it's just not yet. And but I'm hungry. Again, it's not like I'm like rolling over and like, oh, I suck at my job. I'm hungry, and I'm gonna try to get that. Like in my mind, I'm a freaking lion. Like right, I'm gonna come get you. But
What's the follow up like? I mean, are you like sending a text? Are you calling them? Just like check, back in when I was doing business to business sales, I used to hate the calling just to follow up.
Mhm.
Right? It's like, what value are you providing in this phone call? It's like, So I'm curious,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
what's the talk track, or how
So,
would you follow up?
a sales training I had once was schedule the next event. So if I don't close them that day, I'm scheduling the next event.
Oh, okay.
So I'm scheduling a follow-up. I don't often follow up more than 2 or 3 times. But there are people that you're like, this dude is going solar, or this dude's getting a roof, or this dude's gonna buy whatever it is at some point. Like I just feel it, he's expressed it, he's just not buying from me yet. I still need to show him that he needs to buy from me, right? He's gonna buy it from someone, it might as well be me. So some of those people I'll follow for a longer period of time. But I schedule the next event, so I schedule the next time I'm gonna follow up with them, and there's an appointment for that.
Okay.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be in person. It's best if it's in person. It can be over the phone, but we're having a conversation between, something I do, between when I sit with someone and I schedule the next event, I always try to get a handwritten note to them before that next event.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Particularly in door-to-door sales, in sales in general, like people don't follow up like that anymore.
No.
I do though. And a door-to-door sales guy sent me something in the mail. Like I love getting the mail. I don't know if you like getting mail. My wife gets all these Amazon packages. If those were coming to me, it'd be like Christmas every day, you know? And normally you get bills in the mail and a letter from grandma. Like that's about all that you get. Now they get a letter from a door-to-door sales guy and grandma. I'm right up there with grandma, you know? And so I follow up, I show them that I'm a pro. I'm not just a guy that's trying to whatever. And then other opportunity, any opportunity I get to show that I was a person and I listened and I cared, I'll take that opportunity. If they have a brand new baby, I'll send them a book in that follow-up time.
Oh, wow.
Like a kid's book.
Oh,
And I'll write a note to the kid, not to the
Inducing
parents.
that law of reciprocity.
Yep, to the kid. It cost me $30 and I'll send it. I don't bring it, I send it, so it's already showed up before I got there.
Ah.
right?
Nice.
And wow, this
There's a nugget.
guy's
Yeah.
really good, right? And
Yeah, you make a
or-
couple bucks on a solar system, right? And so it's like, a $30 book that, if you get one out of 4 of those, you're
Right.
still way ahead.
Way ahead. Yeah, doggy treats for people who are
Just
big
Amazon,
dog
like
lovers,
Amazon
or,
putting their address in and just have their Amazon
Yeah.
drop ship it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or I'll get it. Actually, with kids books, I just bought a stack of kids books. I've got
Nice.
a box of kids books because that one's so good.
That is good.
That I have it on the ready. I come home, I'll write in it, I'll send it out,
Nice.
and make sure that it gets there before I show up. So, anything like that shows that I'm really listening, and that I really care, whether I get the deal or not. Guaranteed, there'll be something that will come from that. It might just be my heart is like, man, I'm a really good guy, and I care about my customers, and I take that energy to the next person that will hopefully say yes to me. It could just be that. Or it could be, hey, we didn't go with you, but my aunt is really talking about solar. She's talking about some other guy that she told me the deal, and he didn't sound like you. Can you connect with my aunt? This is from somebody that doesn't have solar from me, but because I connected in a different way, now I'm selling their aunt. And guess what's gonna happen? I'm gonna sell them too eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, I got 15 in a day because I didn't knock on a door. I didn't do anything. I
Wow.
was just following up.
Wow.
I was just calling everybody, hey, go time. Are you in? Are you not in? What else what other questions do you have? Where are you at? Just like following up like crazy. And I had a few sales in the morning, and then I went to dry, and then it was awesome, dude. For like a 2-hour span. DocuSign. It got like 6 deals. Just like boom, 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 boom. And I was trying to, call them. Okay, we need to do welcome call, set up site survey, boom, 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 boom. I had an assistant help me for that specific, like for some things like, all right, this person needs this person needs that. And it was just jamming. Signed my last deal on the airplane.
Wow.
It's about to take off, 10:15 at night. The guy signs the DocuSign, I sign the DocuSign back. 15 deals this year. I'll self-gen. Just awesome.
That's
Awesome,
crazy.
Awesome time.
So you started off in February, I'm gonna go do this, all self-gen.
Yeah.
So you just get on the door, and you're probably a monster on the door. So you're probably generating tons of leads, appointments, bills, like
Smile
all
at
that stuff,
people,
right?
yeah.
And not all that stuff closed, but you got more than one a day on average. But then you also had this huge pipeline. Because I was thinking about that. I was like, there's a lot of people. Like I started going out in the doors a couple weeks ago, and I'm still not very good, but like I can get a couple appointments, but I realized that some of these people you kind of got to follow up with. Like I think you got to follow up. If you like, that relationship's not dead. You had a really positive interaction.
Sure.
But I think I probably would just forget about it, right? But that's still a super qualified potential customer.
Yeah.
That if I did, so will you follow up with not just the presentations you sat, but also leads like that you generated?
Yeah, totally. Well, so if somebody
support you
didn't tell me, if I had a good interaction with somebody, if it's grandma that's spending $50 a month, not a ton of need, and I want to treat all grandmas like I treat my grandma and all those things, right? I may not be as urgent or persistent,
yeah.
right? But if somebody tells me they got a $400 or $500 bill, and they're 40, and they got 3 or 4 kids, I'm gonna keep on it, man. You're gonna do this eventually. It's gonna be with someone. It might as well be me, right? Even if I didn't get the lead, if they didn't give me the bill, they just said, we pay around $400 or $500 a month. Like, all right, let's talk. Oh no, we're not interested because blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I understand that, but I'm gonna do my best, and I'll mark that person as. Sometimes I'll send them a letter in the mail before I even have an appointment with them.
Oh wow.
Showing them, wow, this guy's a pro.
And that's just part of the daily habits.
That's just part of, if there's people that I felt, and I don't send a letter to everybody I knock on, and even everybody that tells me they got a big bill, but if I've connected with someone,
you kind of feel it out.
And feel it out, yep. If I can get a text, if I can get their cell phone number somehow and create a texting relationship, that goes a really long ways because people open their text messages, right?
And so kind of just daily, then you're kind of going through your list of leads and kind of like working that.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
And you probably have another event created for the appointments. or the ones that even maybe didn't sit? Will you create a follow-up event where this is when I'm gonna call them? Or
If it's from a door knock, I'll be in the area.
okay,
And I'll try to swing by again. Way more effective in person than through a text or phone. But if that's all I've got, I'm gonna shoot my shot.
yeah,
Right? I try not to send emails. Not the emails are bad, but they just met me. I'm really not that much different than a spam email.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So if I can text or call or visit being the best, that's gonna be the best thing. If I've sat with them and they haven't closed, still best for me to go back in person, but not as required because they've already felt who I am, right? Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition a little bit. So, how about the biggest challenge you've had to overcome in this job? Let's just kind of leave it kind of open like that.
My car door. No joke. I've been doing this for a long time. I started knocking doors in 2005, right? So 9 to 20 years. And the hardest door for me every day is my own door. Like guaranteed. So if I can get, and then once I get past that, people are nice, man. Sure, you're gonna find some punks, but I believe humans are good. And I'm a good human. I believe both of those things. I don't care what race you are, religion you are, where you're from, you're a good human. You woke up today trying to do what's best for you and your family. And I did the same thing. So why don't we connect on good people vibes? Let's just do that. And so I find good people on the doors all the time. Somebody that's like, dude, that guy was a punk. I'm like, that guy was freaking cool, right? Because that's who I am, and that's what I believe they are, and that's the interaction that we have. But I put monsters in my head. Bro, what if somebody is bad? What if somebody does pull a gun? Like, there's a monster behind the door, dude. They're gonna eat me, right? We put these big monsters in our head, and so just getting to that first door. Once I've had one interaction, two interaction, I'm like, this is fine. Everybody's fine. I'm good. This is good. And then I can get into my flow. But it's honestly that first door, like just opening my car door. So there's things that I put in place to try to get that out. When I'm knocking the night before, what happens too often is a rep will be like, I'm gonna go to this area today. Awesome. Okay. So they go to the area and they're like, look around. And they're like, I'm not feeling it right now. This isn't the one. So I'm gonna go to this side of the area, and they'll drive to this and like, this isn't the one either. And they'll drive around for 30 or 45 minutes or an hour to find the good hood, right? Or when I first started out, dude, I was trying to avoid it so much. I would listen to a song, and I'd be like, I gotta wait till the end of the song because this song's so good. And then I would kind of start listening, and then I'd start to do something else, right? And then the next song would come on, and it was also good. And be like, oh, I gotta finish this one. I can't cut it off right in the middle of the song. This is, whatever the song was. And I would just like spend extra time doing that, and then, oh crap, I forgot to read my scriptures today, and I brought my scriptures in the car. So I need God with me, man. So I'm gonna pull out my scriptures real quick, because that's most important. If I'm gonna have success in the doors, I gotta read my scriptures. So I'm listening to songs, and now I'm not doing that, and I'm reading scriptures, and I was just like trying to do everything but go knock, right? And so I had to put things in place, like the night before I pick the house I'm gonna start knocking on. No decisions are made when I'm trying to avoid getting out there. I'm gonna knock on that door, the first door of the day. I'm driving there, I know exactly that by itself will save so many people so much time.
Heck yeah.
Just figuring out where you're gonna go knock the next day, the night before, decisions made. Sweet. And they're nice. I'm gonna knock at this house, and it's a nice house, and they're nice people. It'll be super easy for me to get out of the door, right? And I don't keep my scriptures in my car anymore. And I drive to my area usually not listening to music. And it's time for me to kind of contemplate and maybe role play and try to get my tongue going. But I've got no excuse to listen to tons of music, because I'm not listening to music the whole drive.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, our VP of sales just did a training on this about basically, like, nobody plans their hood, and if you only plan it to your point, right? You take all the thinking out of it. It's just get out there and hit the job, right?
Mm-hmm.
At a certain time or whatever it is.
And those things that I just said may not work for people. Like, some people, it may not be a thing to like have to finish the song or listen to music. Like, you can rock out on music or whatever if you want to or need to. But those were what I'm trying to portray is, for me, the hardest thing was, and still is, opening my own door. So how do I figure out what do champions do? Champions figure out a way to make their hardest thing an easier thing. And that's those two things have really helped me to make it so it's like an easier thing.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Have you picked up on any other like habits of of successful people? Whether it's you or that you've noticed people in your organization about like what are there's some common things that you see. Like I know like some people are really big on fitness, right? And about like making sure that if you're in a physical state where you can handle heavy load, it's going to make it easier out there in the doors. I mean, is there anything like that you would?
Yeah, dude. I was gonna say physical. I have some non-negotiables in my life, and one of them is around my physical health. So if you follow me on social media, Ashton Buswell, you'll see on Monday I'm gonna post about non-negotiable Monday morning workout. Because if I work out on Monday, usually I work out on Tuesday. If I work out on Monday and Tuesday, usually I do Wednesday. If I don't work out on Monday, and then I do the rest of the week. If I don't work out on Monday, often I don't work out on Tuesday, and it just kind of spills over and doesn't take care of my life. So I mean, habits, like a healthy living is one of them. But not all top performers are putting premium fuel in their body. I'm trying to put premium fuel in my body. I had somebody say that like a couple years ago, and I'm like, it was around some wrestling. I started getting back into old guys wrestling, and they're like, if I'm cutting weight or if I'm trying to eat like bulk up or whatever, I got to put premium fuel in my body. I'm like, yeah. That's what I need to put in my body all the time, premium fuel, because I want to live a premium life and have a premium body, and and I'm not
premium performance.
Premium performance. So I'm not going to put junk in my body. But not all top performers do that. So, but I would say that is a characteristic of that. I would also say that good communication is a key of top performers. They're communicating with important people in our life in order to make things happen. My relationship with my wife is awesome. She's the best human that I know, and it only works to live and have the job that I do if I communicate everything, right? If I'm not opening my mouth and communicating on what I want to have happen and things to do, then it's not working. And others, and sometimes people's relationships will fall apart that are outside of work because they're not communicating. So the top performer could be a top performer and may not have the life that they want because they didn't communicate, right? So top performers are good communicators. Like I said earlier, I think they're always trying to learn and get better. They're not in a state of like, I've made it. I think that they take care of their health, and then they also, like I've been going to sales meetings for years. I still go to sales meetings, and I go to pick up one nugget, and now I also go to share nuggets.
So you're like going to a sales meeting, not I've heard this all before, but I'm going to find something.
Yeah, it could be one little word, it could be one little thing that somebody says different. I actually love when first year reps come in and they start to talk about the experience, because this is a fresh lens. I've been in solar 10 years. I've been in door-to-door sales almost 20 years. That's not a fresh lens. I'm jaded by all the doors, right? I have perceptions of people.
So you'll learn things even from the new person.
A brand new person coming in and they'll say something like, that's freaking brilliant. They don't know that it's brilliant, right? They just think like, oh yeah, this is how I see the world. Like, that's cool that you see it that way. I'm gonna use that little thing in my pitch, and I'm just always trying to fine tune, right? Always. And so, anyway, I think top performers do a few of those things.
Kind of philosophical question maybe, but nature or nurture? Like, do you think that these traits that people are born with it? Is this a skill that's developed and learned over time? If somebody, I'm sure you've seen plenty of examples where people started and they sucked and then they got good. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say I'm actually not a crazy, fantastic natural sales guy. I'm a leader, and there's some sales and leaders, right? But to be a leader, you have to sell people on the idea of wanting to follow you to do whatever thing. And I've got some natural leadership in me, for sure, and I'm grateful.
Like
to
you've just
God for that.
always had that.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for that. So there's some sales in that. But as far as actual sales skills, we're at this door-to-door sales conference, and I bet you there's spouses here, of the 50 or 45 sales guys that are here and sales skills, I may be 40th. I'm not number one. I'm probably not top 10, maybe not even top 20. And I'm all right with that. But I guess I should say in natural sales skills, right? Just natural gift of the gab.
So you're saying you learned your skills.
Dude, I hustled my face off. I legit, my first year, ran door to door. Before somebody could tell me, don't run through my grass, I was already at the neighbor's door because I had ran through their grass, right? And I was already there knocking at the door for $65 a sell. And I ran. And even to this day, if you go knock with me, I walk really fast, like really fast. And people are like, dude, if you're gonna shout out Ashton today, make sure you get your running shoes on, because I move, because I want to hustle and I want to get after it, right? And so I make up for the lack of sales gift of the gab with just hustle and grit, and then I just study, right? So I guess maybe now, of these 45 or 50 salespeople taking out the spouses that are here, I'm probably top 10, but not naturally. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So you ask nature and nurture. I think most skills can be learned. I'm not Steve Young. I don't have the physical body of LeBron James and those other things, and that's all right. So I don't have that nature, but most things can be learned. I could spend long enough shooting a three-pointer and get as good or close to Steph Curry, or I could be a top 10 three-point shooter if I spent enough time and I had the right coaching and I was hungry. I legit.
And that's the growth mindset that
I
you're talking
legit
about.
believe that.
Yeah, that's the growth mindset, right? Because the fixed mindset would say that, I'm limited.
never get there.
Yeah, I can never do it.
Yeah.
The growth mindset says, if I had enough time,
Yeah.
and I just put my mind to it, I could do anything.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Let's see, top 3 tips off the top of your head for the new rep starting out. Just top 3 that come to mind. What advice would you give for the guy that's maybe just had his first teeth day out in the field? Maybe he was a raging success. Maybe bageled, right? What would you?
Yeah. Top 3 things: consistent effort over time, positive attitude, work the hours. So in any progress in life, consistent effort over time always wins, right? That basketball example, if you did it consistently, a lot, over time, you could get there, right? If I ate a Twinkie for breakfast, lunch, and dinner consistently, over time, I would get results called diabetes, right? But if I did it over and over and over again, I would get results. So consistent effort over time always wins. You can't eat 28 apples in a day and say you don't have to eat an apple for the rest of the month, right? You got to eat an apple a day. And so consistent effort over time, have a positive attitude. We really get to choose that. Crap happens all the time, indoors, in life, all the time, and you get to choose how you react to it. You're not forced to choose anything. You get to choose. So you can choose to be positive about every interaction. I got my teeth kicked in. That's awesome. Dude, that was such a great learning day.
Even if you don't feel that way, you can kind of manufacture.
Yeah.
You choose. You just choose to.
Dude, this was actually a killer day. I actually really am super grateful for this day, because not every day is gonna be like today. Celebrate it. Hallelujah. Right? So positive attitude, and then work the hours. Too often, and in door-to-door sales, most people are 100% commission, so we can call our own shots. We can work when we want to work, and right?
Which is a great benefit of the job.
Which is a great benefit of the job. But what happens is that people start to cut themselves short, and they lose out on all the opportunity of the job because they start cutting the hours. Or they get invited to a barbecue and they're like, I've done good this week. I'll just go to the barbecue. Dude, you've done good this week. That's when you pour it on, right? Or whatever. But if you don't work the hours, you're not going to have the success.
How do you
And that's
define
super
work the
simple.
hours? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, it depends on what your thing is. If you're a brand new rep, how I was raised in door-to-door sales, we had an Ironman bonus. It was if you knock 7 hours a day, all summer long, 120 days or whatever, you got Sundays off, and then you could take 3 days off. One of them was the 4th of July. So basically you had 4th of July and 2 other days off the whole summer, and you knocked 7 hours a day every day. They gave you $1,000. And I was like, dude, I'm a poor college kid. You're gonna give me $1,000 just to do my job? I'll do my job, yeah. So I was raised on doing 7 hours of door knocking, not appointments, not follow-ups, just pure door knocking. A brand new rep, I think, should knock 7 hours.
To get the repetition.
To get going, yeah. If you want to be really successful. And some guys are like, dude, I'll get burnt out, and I'm saving all my energy for prime time because that's when everybody's home, and I don't want to be worn out. And I understand that, and I don't. If I want to bench 300 pounds, I don't just be like, all right, dude, I'm going to go in when I have the most energy and I'm just going to pound it. You don't do that. You work up to it. So if somebody currently today is knocking 4 hours and they're like, I can't do 7 hours, like, you don't have to jump to 7 hours today, but do 4.5 hours this week, and then next week do 5 hours. And it's just like building a muscle, right? By the time, once you get used to knocking 7 hours a day, you're in the flow. And sure, prime time's at nighttime, but I consider it my warm-up, right? I wrestled in high school and college, and I had to warm up before my wrestling matches. So from 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I'm just warming up, so that when prime time comes, I don't have to warm up, dude. I'm in the flow. Do you know what I mean? So working the hours is going to be different depending on your role, depending on what it is that you're doing, but kind of having a schedule of these are the hours that I'm working, and these are the things that I'm going to do.
And they're sacred.
And then keep that. Yeah. Totally.
Love that. Okay, top 3 tips, top of the dome, just for people aspiring for leadership or are in leadership.
Sell, and be someone others would want to follow. Again, in sales organizations, and particularly I know you're in solar and I'm in solar, if you're not selling, people aren't going to want to follow you. You can be the coolest dude in the world, and they'll want to hang with you at the beach, at the barbecue, at the pool, but they're not going to want to follow you if you're not selling. You gotta sell, right? You gotta sell, and then be the leader that people would want to follow. I had a realization during the coronavirus. We were at my house, and I kind of, like, California shut down hard. A lot of other states didn't shut down like California did, right? Like day one, everything shut down, and they're freaking everybody out. And I didn't realize that I had kind of gone into survival mode. And I myself was like, I was worried about how things were going to go. And they deemed solar necessary because we dealt with the grid. And so I was able to continue to progress my account. So I was progressing my accounts to install so that I could get paid, but I wasn't really selling much at all. And I realized that, and I was like, crap, this isn't good. And then I was like, I gotta sell, but I didn't. Again, I was in survival mode, and I was like, you know what, dude, I wouldn't want to follow me right now. I'm a leader of, by the time I was a national sales director and helped run San Diego team, and sold myself, but I was like, dude, I wouldn't want to follow me. I'm not inspiring me. I'm not an inspiring person right now. I wouldn't want to follow me. And so I was like, I gotta be a leader that I would be willing to follow in order for other people to want to follow me too, right? And so I switched things, dude, and I made some goals, and I'm gonna do 15 in 2 weeks, and I did 14 in 2 weeks, 14 in 14 days, and I did 15, and ran through the line, did more, and I became and got back to the things that would be something that I would want to follow. And so,
well, you said something similar yesterday when you were talking about your early days at Legacy, right? Because there wasn't somebody that was like setting the pace.
Yeah.
And you're like, we need a rabbit, and you're like, I guess I'm gonna be the rabbit.
Yeah, I chose to be the rabbit. It wasn't anything I'd done in the other companies, because Luke Toon was always the rabbit. But yeah, I made a choice of like, I gotta be the rabbit because we need a rabbit. And I could do it. I could figure out how to be the rabbit. Ready, set, go. I'm gonna be the rabbit. And then recruiting actually became really easy for me, because our owners or people were like, hey, where should I go sell? And I'm like, well, Ashton's crushing it in San Diego. You should go check it out. So they'd come down and like, hey, are you doing well? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I got 5 last week. That's pretty good. And what about the week before? I got 4. And what about I got 3? And then I got 5 before that. Like, wow, dude, you're doing really good. Yeah, you should come sell, right? Because I was a leader that
the momentum. Yeah, you had the momentum. And
yeah,
people saw
because I
that.
sold,
And
right? Sell, and be the leader you want to
it's like the proof of concept. Like you were like the proof of concept.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So okay, any other tips for leaders, aspiring leaders?
Yeah, I mean, so be a student of leadership. Read lots of books, listen to lots of books.
Any favorite book recommendations?
There's the cool thing about books is that's 20 or 30 years of somebody's life's work that you can listen to in 5 or 6 hours. You know what I mean? So yeah, the As a Man Thinketh is a super short book and a really good book. James Allen.
Oh, James Allen, that's right. Yeah.
Yep. And then Earl Nightingale's book, Lead the Field.
Ah, okay.
So clutch.
I haven't read either of those. Usually I've read everything that somebody mentions. That's cool.
I
got
just
two good
listened to that like a year and a half ago, and was like, this is my new favorite. I absolutely loved it, and it was a positive mental attitude, and like it was just super good about being a leader and some good attributes around it. So
Very cool.
there's a couple good books for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Ashton, thank you for your time. This has been awesome. Hopefully you guys get a ton of value out of this. I know I did. And thanks for being so willing to share and open book. And I mean, I was talking to Mike about this, how, you would think people would be so like, my intellectual property, like hide it, but people in the space, especially here, are so open and free to give. And you've been an example of that from day one, since the first time I've ever seen you, which was at the door-to-door con, maybe 2. Yeah, you did the haka, and then you were giving us some sales tips and about like micro expressions on your face, and I just remember that, and so I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
And so thank you so much. Yeah.
You got it.
All right.
Peace.